Your friends are the reason why you're not where you want to be. And you don't have to agree, but I'm going to prove it to you with a simple test. You probably don't want to hear this because it means that you have to make some really uncomfortable decisions about people that you've known for years. But here's the reality: you are the average of 5 people who you spend the most time with. And if those 5 people are broke, unmotivated, and stuck in the same place that they were 5 years ago, you're next. I'll give you a test right now. 5 questions that will expose exactly where you stand. So answer honestly, because if you lie to yourself about this, you're going to wake up 5 years from now in the exact same spot, wondering what happened. And trust me, I learned this the hard way. So let's jump right into it. So here's the first thing that you need to think about that'll tell you everything right off the bat. Let me ask you this: when you share a goal or an idea with your friends, what's their immediate reaction? Are they hyped for you? Do they ask how they can support you? Do they connect you with someone that can help you? Or do they immediately tell you why it wouldn't work? And if their response is, that's going to be hard, you know how competitive that is, or I knew someone who tried that and failed. Listen, I'm not saying your friends are bad people, but if their instinct is to throw water on the fire, then you have everything you need to know. When you tell a real friend your idea, even if it's half baked, they help you think bigger. They ask you questions that expand the vision and then they see the possibility. Unsuccessful people, they only see risk. They see failure and they project their limitations onto your dreams. I remember when I first told people that I wanted to do this full time, just create content, build a brand. And the response that I got from certain people was, you're going to give up a stable income for that? Do you know how saturated that place is right now? Well, good luck. Meanwhile, you got people who are actually doing something great and on some entrepreneurship. They were offering genuine advice. So think about the last 3 times that you shared something that you were excited about. What was the energy you got back? If it was doubt more than support, that's your first red flag. Let's get into question 2. This is where it gets more revealing, so pay attention. What do your conversations actually sound like? Really listen to what you talk about when you're together. Are they talking about ideas, strategies, and what you're building, and even books that you're reading? Or are you talking about other people drama, what's trending, who said what, or just complaining about your jobs but never actually doing anything about it? Here's the thing: your conversations, it shapes your reality. If you spend every hour and all week long talking about nothing that matters, your brain starts to believe nothing matters. I had a friend years back. Every time we got together, it was the same cycle: complaining about money, complaining about work, always talking about everyone else's business, rehashing the same problems, but never really discussing solutions. And I noticed something: nobody in that group was growing. We were all just talking about the same frustrations, the same dead end conversations. And the moment I started spending more time with the people who talked about what they were actually creating instead of just what they were mad about, everything changed. I started having conversations about growth, about what's working and what's not, about books that we were reading, and about just implementing and opportunities that we were seeing in the market. And something shifted in my brain. I started thinking differently because I was talking differently. So ask yourself, what percentage of your conversations are actually moving you forward versus keeping you stuck in that same mental loop? Because I promise you, if 80% of your conversations are just gossip and complaints and distractions, you're not going anywhere. And that's just math. Let's get into question 3. All right, next one. And this is the question that people really don't want to answer honestly. Are your friends where you want to be, or where you're trying to leave? This is the one people hate to admit. If you're trying to build a business and all your friends are comfortable in corporate jobs that they complain about, there's a mismatch. If you're trying to get in shape and your friend's idea of a good time is getting drunk every weekend, there's a mismatch. If you're trying to level up financially and your crew's idea of success is just making it to the next paycheck, there's another mismatch. I'm not saying drop everyone. I'm saying be honest about whether the people around you are just living the life that you want or the life that you're trying to escape. Because here's what happens: their normal becomes your ceiling. If nobody in your circle is trying to do what you're trying to do, you'll unconsciously cap yourself at their level. You'll sabotage without even realizing it, because going further would mean outgrowing them. And that kind of feels like betrayal, right? You know what? I felt this hard when I started making real progress. I hit certain milestones, and instead of celebrating, I would downplay it because I didn't want to make people around me feel bad. I didn't want them to feel like I was leaving them behind in a way. But what I realized is that I was just holding myself back just to make people comfortable. And that's insane. Your growth isn't an attack on anyone. And if they take it that way, that's their issue, not yours. So be real with yourself. Are the people closest to you living at the level that you're trying to reach? Or are they comfortable in that exact place that you're trying to leave? Question number 4, which brings me to something even deeper. This one separates real friends from people who are just around you. So, do your friends challenge you or do they enable you? There's a difference between support and enabling. Support is when someone just holds you accountable. When you say you're going to do something and they check in, when you're slacking and they call you out, but with love. Enabling is when they make excuses for you. When you bail on your goals and they say, it's okay, you deserve a break anyway. When you're being lazy and they co sign it because they don't want to rock the boat, real friends push you. They don't let you settle. They see your potential and they won't let you waste it. I have a friend who would literally text me every morning at 6 a.m. If I told her that I was waking up early just to work on something, she would call me. She wasn't being annoying. She was just holding me to my standards. She was just holding me to the standards that I set for myself. And when I'm making excuses for why I didn't get something done, she don't let me off the hook. She'll say, that's cool, but what's the real reason? She makes me confront my own bullshit. And that's rare because most people, they'll just let you slide because it's easier. Because if you succeed, it makes them look at their own lack of action. I've had people around who would actively encourage me to skip workouts just to hang out and have drinks. Would tell me, come on, one day wouldn't hurt you. Or talk me out of working on weekends. Talking about, girl, you deserve to relax in. On the surface, that sound like they care. But what they were really doing is pulling me back down to their level of comfort. Because discipline, it makes them uncomfortable about their lack of it. So look at your circle. Are they challenging you to be better or are they making it easier for you to stay the same? Because the people who really care about you, they'll push you, even when it's uncomfortable. Let's get into question 5. And now, here's the big one. This is the most important thing you need to pay attention to because it reveals everything. When you win, how do they react? This is where you see people' true character. When you get a promotion or when you launch something or hit a milestone, do they celebrate with you genuinely? Or is it a weird energy going on? Like they're happy for you, but also not really. Pay attention to that. I've had a family member who would congratulate me to my face, then throw shade later. Must be nice. Or I guess you too busy for us now. Little comments that seem harmless, but are really actually loaded. That's envy, that's insecurity, and it's toxic. Because if the people around you can't genuinely celebrate your success, they're secretly hoping that you stay at their level. And whether they realize it or not, they'll sabotage you just to keep you there. I remember hitting a certain milestone in my life, something that I've been working toward for months, posted about it, and the response from certain people in my life, crickets, nothing but silence. But those same people would comment on every other random post that I made. But when it came to my success, no support. That told me everything that I needed to know. Meanwhile, people that I barely even knew, people who were also building something, they reached out with genuine congratulations, asking how I did it, what worked, and just wanting to learn. That's the difference. Real ones want to see you win because your success it inspires them. Fake ones want you to fail and just stay comfortable because your success threatens them. And here's a really messed up part. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who have the hardest time with your success because they knew you when you were struggling and they saw you at your lowest, and watching you rise means that they have to confront why they're still in the same place. So think about your last win. Who showed up for you? Who genuinely just celebrated you? And who got weird and disappeared? That's your answer right there. Now, if you're sitting here realizing that you failed most of the questions, I get it. It's uncomfortable. But what you need to understand is that this is about just being intentional with the one life that you have. You can still love people from a distance. You can still care about them, but you don't have to let them dictate your life. I'm not saying cut everyone off tomorrow, but I am saying that you need to start being strategic about who gets your time and your energy. Start spending more time with people who want to do exactly what you're trying to do. Even if you have to manufacture those relationships, join communities, go to events, reach out to people online who are just a few steps ahead of you. And with your current friends, set boundaries. Stop sharing your big dreams with people who don't want to see you at that level. Save those conversations for people who get it, because what I learned is that some people are in your life for a season, not for a lifetime. And that's okay. You can appreciate that friendship without forcing it to be something that is no longer serving. I had to distance myself from people I'd known for over a decade, people I genuinely cared about. But every time we hung out, I left feeling drained instead of energized, stuck instead of inspired. And the moment I made space in my life by pulling back from those relationships, new people showed up. People who matched my energy, people who were on the same path. And that's usually how it works. You have to create space for the right people by just removing the wrong ones. Because the reality is that you will either be pulled up by your circle or dragged down by it. There's no neutral. There's no staying the same. You're either rising to the top or you're sinking based on who you're surrounded by. And 5 years from now, you'll either thank yourself for making the hard decision to upgrade your circle, or you'll regret staying comfortable with people who kept you small. I already know which one I would choose. So here's what I want you to do: write down your answers, be honest. Not the shit you want to be true, but the shit that is true. Go through each question, write down names if you need to. Look at the patterns and then make one move this week. Reach out to someone who's ahead of you, who's doing what you want to do. Don't ask them to mentor you. Don't ask for their time. Just acknowledge their work. Tell them what you're trying to build. See if they respond. Join a community that's aligned with where you're going. Whether that be online, in person, it doesn't matter. Just get yourself into rooms with people who are moving. Start creating separation between you and the energy that's just holding you back. Start saying no to hangouts that don't serve you. It means not being available for every complaint session or every drinking session. It means protecting your time. Your circle determines your future, basically. So if your circle isn't pushing you forward, it's only pulling you back. And you have to decide if you're okay with that. So drop a comment. Tell me which question hit the hardest. Which one made you realize something that you've been avoiding? And if this made you think differently about your circle, share it with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's actually moving, someone who will understand what you're trying to build. Because the people who get it, they'll appreciate this. The people who don't, they'll probably feel attacked by it. And that tells you everything that you need to know. So if this resonated with you, do me a favor, smash that like button. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.